So in this segment, we're going to be talking about British children essentially being brought home from Syria, and so before anyone starts piping up, these children are British. Some of them weren't born here, but they were born to British parents. Um, and so yeah, let's dig into this one. The UK has rescued a British child from Syria as part of efforts to return unaccompanied minors stranded amid the fallout of the Islamic State conflict. So this is the collapse of the Islamic State. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said, "Oh, it's my cat." No, that's not what he said. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said repatriating the child was the right thing to do. He said each case of orphans and or unaccompanied children trapped in Syria was assessed carefully. Save the Children said some 60 children were in Syrian refugee camps, many aged under 5. And look, it's not their fault. They were born to crappy parents. It's not, and especially because they could easily become radicalized, living in these sorts of places, these sorts of camps, wherever else they may be. Plus the fact that they're not safe and there's massive amounts of diseases running through. I'm surprisingly saying this, but I actually agree here with Dominic Raab that they should be brought home, assessed carefully. If they're under 5, they're not really going to be a threat. If they're older, then it's possible that they've already faced some radicalization, and they will have to, when they come back here, they will have to be obviously assessed and de-radicalized if need be. So the recent repatriation was first brought by Sky News, which said a team left a Middle Eastern country with a child on Tuesday. Mr. Raab said on Twitter, "We are pleased to bring home a British child from Syria. As I have said, we assess each case carefully, safely facilitating the child. The return of orphans or unaccompanied British children where possible is the right thing to do." Save the Children said many of the children fled areas controlled by IS and have endured dire conditions in camps, adding that COVID-19 was now present in both camps where the charity works. It's hard to contain these diseases in a place where social distancing is not possible because these tents are so close to each other, and a lot of the facilities are communal. So that makes sense. It's hard. There we go. Said that one. It's hard to contain the disease. A recipe for an unfolding disaster. The process of repatriation takes many months. Ms. Cush said, although the charity is not directly involved in negotiations, only in helping prepare the child for resettlement in the UK. She said they tried to focus on the positive elements of repatriation, the opportunity to live more comfortably, go to school, enjoy typical childhood experience like riding a bike, for example. But the children do have fear, said Ms. Cush. They've been through so much in their short lives already, living under essentially a terrorist regime that collapsed. I could imagine how scary their lives must have been, or still are now, to be fair. Often children have been repeatedly displaced as fighting escalates across the country. They have a lot of questions about what's going to happen to them, and it's quite difficult to take them away from what for them is a home. And obviously, if that's the only place they've ever lived in, a tent, that's all they're ever going to know. And so when you bring them here, if they live in like a house or supported accommodation, it is going to be strange for them at first. It's difficult for the children left behind too. They have been each other's family. So I think that I think it says 60 children. Said some 60 children. I think all of them should be brought home because they are British at the end of the day. And for people who use the argument, well, a rat born in a stable isn't in a horse stable isn't a horse, insinuating that people born here unnecessarily British. That means people born in Syria aren't necessarily Syrian then. So by your own logic, you should want to bring these kids home. And by leaving them out there, they're more susceptible to being indoctrinated and radicalized. So I think absolutely they should be brought back. They should be brought back here, and if they have any family members that can help them, that can raise them, I think that'd be perfect. If not, then whatever conditions we have here, orphanages and things like that, I would rather they be brought back here and live in the care system, as as flawed as the care system is, rather than living out there in tents where disease is rife. Having very extremely limited education and having a very low opportunities in life, when it's not their fault that they were born like this. Born into these sorts of families with absolute morons, fleeing and running away from this country to join IS. One of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, I think this is absolutely the right thing to do. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.